friends, this is Morgan with Compass Rose Astrology. Let's first start off by talking about how you've been feeling, and then I'm going to explain some of the transits that we're experiencing and why it might be contributing to what you're feeling. Have you possibly been feeling a sort of distinct sense of hollowness in like your very core? Like maybe a sense of clinging to something that in the past might have provided a sense of like stability and kind of support in your life, I would say, that might just be preventing new opportunities from coming up and making you feel really stagnant. You might be feeling really passively rigid and inflexible due to not being able to expand and like try new things or express yourself. Like you're being suffocated by some sort of, possibly a male figure in your life that you feel like either has too much control or unintentionally has too much say of things in your life, or attempts to put too much of their own emphasis of their opinions on things that happen in your life. And just for example, this could be something that you're experiencing in that kind of realm of feelings and just symbolism of some sort of male figure kind of influencing your opinions and decisions. This could also look like some sort of person, a male figure in your family whose opinion just matters too much to you and is kind of slowing you down in a sense about in regards to their like refusal to kind of see you and maybe agree with you, and that's really making you feel kind of hampered. This could also be someone at work who attempts to kind of control you too much or micromanage you and doesn't really have any ground to stand on to do that. And they might also choose not to see how accomplished and hardworking you are, and that prevents you the sort of freedom to move and work and make decisions on your own. And you also might be feeling some sort of sense of like really demanding work being forced on your shoulders at the moment, but it's not so much of a struggle right now. That might be something you're actually really diving into and taking on that work because this is something you kind of feel like you're good at or you can do, and that you have that support within yourself to achieve and succeed in that. Right now, there is definitely an emphasis on careful, dogmatic, measured change. So nothing too grandiose. You might feel like you've been taking a lot of like really small steps in order, like it's kind of like small but hardworking and like steady steps in order to achieve something. And if I were to put this into perspective of some of the tarot cards, I would say this is like the Seven of Pentacles card in the tarot deck, where it's all about hard work, really putting your nose down to the grindstone and being really down in like that nitty gritty work of everything. And you might be feeling that way right now, like you haven't really looked up to see the forest for the trees right now. You might be really stuck with each movement and each choice, all of those really small details, and you might be kind of feeling lost in that sense of perseverance, and it might be really stifling as well. These are all examples of how it feels when we go through a Sun and Saturn conjunction, which is happening today. And let me just kind of explain why we get these feelings of kind of rigidity and hard work with Sun and Saturn. So we have the Sun, which is our primary luminary in the sky, and it's a symbol of our central organizing force within us. It is our, it guides us, it shines light on kind of our innermost being. It's our will, it's our intelligence, and it's our ego. And then combined with Saturn, which is the symbol of, well, in itself, Saturn is the most visible, or the last visible planet in our solar system. And it symbolizes winter, it's the cold, it's father figures, it's hard work, really distant success. So it's like working towards something that you might not be able to see. It's about strong foundations for future rewards and the overall kind of tick of time and our lack of control over time itself. So when you combine these two planets, you get this overall kind of feeling of, I would say, repression, possibly from male figures. It could also be identification with hard work, with toil, with self-restraint, and with caution, and a sense of self-discipline as well, because it is also very focused on you yourself. So these are all things that you could be experiencing with this transit happening over us. And one of my favorite images for this kind of a transit comes from the book The Archetypal Universe. Let me just grab it. The Archetypal Universe by Ren Butler. So this is one of my favorite kind of sayings for Sun and Saturn transits. And Ren Butler says that it's like a cold winter day. And in my mind, what that means is that you have this really bright clarity of the sun that's lighting up the world, but it's the warmth of the sun is being hindered. It's not being translated down to where you are, right? So we have the bright clarity of the sun, but then we also have Saturn, which represents coldness and austerity, and it kind of keeps you inside on those really cold, bitter days. Even though it's really bright and nice outside, it's kind of deceptive, and you stay inside where it's warm and familiar and where you have a bit of a routine, and it's not really going out and adventuring and trying new things or exploring the creativity and the wonders and the spirituality of the world. It's really like staying within where you can just persevere and continue, where you're away from the biting cold and the mornings are really silent. The birds don't even come out. It's just a very kind of austere blank canvas that where you're just enduring kind of the mundanity of everyday life. And you might feel like your goals are kind of hindered or slowed with this sort of a transit as well. But you still have that sense of devotion and perseverance and that feeling of just being and being within yourself. If we pair that with Aquarius, which is where this conjunction is happening, this is the sign of dogmatic idealism and action. It's also about intense kind of willfulness and individuality. And this transit, or even if you have it as a placement in your birth chart, like Sun and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius in your birth chart, this indicates a person or time that is very motivated by creativity, willing to endure for the sake of what's right. This is a person that's also very objective and can also be kind of judgmental, so you might feel that sort of tendency within yourself right now as well. And you might also have this kind of like overinflated sense of self, which can sometimes happen, especially when you're feeling a little like squashed and overmanaged and unable to really express yourself other than through your work. So sometimes that can bring up feelings of kind of resentment as well. So that might be something you're experiencing. And there's a very strong theme of kind of individual importance here that can become the overall like umbrella theme of the day. It's about the importance of the individual and remaining true to oneself and one's ideals and your hard work. That's all first and foremost with this transit. My suggestion for working with these sorts of symbols and kind of archetypes is to allow yourself to put your nose to the grindstone. And if someone or something comes up that kind of triggers that defense mechanism in regards to people not recognizing your efforts or your abilities, use your actions to prove your abilities and your worth. Because these people can't really tell your worth just based on their own judgments, you know? Like, let your actions really prove that to them, and also allow that Aquarius sense of individuality to guide you, and knowing that their opinions don't actually provide worth for you in your life. It's, you know your worth, you know, and that's most important, and that's kind of what this transit is allowing to come to the surface. And the reason why I also say to use your actions is because Saturn, or excuse me, the sun is the symbol of activity. It's the symbol of not being passive, and it's about just going and moving forward and keeping going. And Saturn also doesn't mince words. It's not really the planet that I would say that uses words or discussion or arguments to make a point. I would definitely say allow your actions to speak for themselves and allow your own sense of knowing to guide your actions, and that will probably be the most fruitful way to get through this very fun transit, or to live with this sort of transit if it's a placement that you have in your birth chart. So let me know if any of these sorts of themes might be popping up for you in your life right now. It's definitely something that can appear a couple days before and after this transit perfects, because Saturn's kind of a slow moving planet, so the aspect is going to keep in intensity for a little bit longer as the sun moves past it. So yeah, definitely comment. I'd love to hear more about what you might be experiencing, and I'll share some of my own experiences in the comments as well. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.